and partner webinar series here with Yoked. Today we have Dante Carnevale. He is the Chief Strategy Officer at Myos Corporation, which is the parent company of Yoked. He's been here for almost 5 years. He oversees the growth of the business, and he's worked in sports for many years. So he has a direct background into what he's talking about here. So I'm going to let him talk all about the product, and I hope you guys are excited to see this brand become available on the platform for you to use for your patients, and you'll see how you can use it here soon. So thanks for being on here today, Dante.
Yeah, thanks, Candice. Hello, everyone. I have a brief slide deck to take you through, which will provide some kind of basics of what Yoked is, what it's all about, how it's used. And then I think Candice at the end will have some questions for me that might reflect, some curiosity from folks who are brand new to being exposed to this very unique product, which is why we've been so excited about bringing it to market over the past few years. There's nothing else like it, which we'll talk about here in a second. So the picture here is what Yoked looks like, and I think it's important to share what it looks like and what it is, because it is so unique. We'll get into more specifics in a second, but so this gentleman here is bodybuilding legend Vince Gironda. And in a lot of ways, he is one of the inspirations behind the brand. So Vince Gironda, as well as other bodybuilders and fitness enthusiasts throughout the decades or even longer, have been proponents of consuming large quantities of egg, especially raw egg, and building muscle. Obviously, everyone, most people are familiar with the Rocky Balboa movies where, as Rocky's training, he's drinking the raw eggs every morning. And, there's just decades of tradition around the fact that raw egg is beneficial for building muscle. And Vince Gironda was one of the biggest, kind of proponents around that idea. He, I believe, consumed during his training 36 eggs a day. So about 12 years ago, a group of scientists, backgrounds at Celgene and some other top companies, got together and said, hey, we believe in this idea that raw egg has tremendous muscle building properties. Let's try to find a way to harness, the bioactivity in raw egg to create a supplement for people, whether they're bodybuilders or, just people who generally want to build muscle, for those folks to benefit from. And so that's where an invention called Fortetropin came about. And Fortetropin is our proprietary ingredient, which we'll talk about here in a second. But it's kind of fun to, I think, learn about the inspiration and the kind of general idea beyond, behind the product and behind the brand, which is raw egg builds muscle. Okay, so what is Yoked? Yoked 101. Yoked is an all-natural muscle-building supplement. It is powered by Fortetropin, which is this proprietary ingredient that these scientists that I referenced came up with years ago. It is a unique protein lipid complex derived from raw fertile egg yolk. Really, what happens is we take raw fertilized egg yolk, and fertilized egg yolk is basically the eggs that are harvested in areas where roosters and hens coexist, so they're fertile. Created through the roosters and hens, commingling. Those eggs are harvested and put through a patented process where it is pasteurized and dried and made safe for consumption without ever touching heat. So we use high pressure pasteurization and freeze drying to take the raw fertile egg yolk and turn it into a powder that is safe to consume. And then we lightly sweeten it to make it palatable. And that's Yoked. Basically, the Fortetropin is the egg product. When lightly sweetened, it becomes Yoked. The brand that we sell to athletes and humans. We also have as part of Myos Corp, a really thriving, exciting animal health business where we sell this Fortetropin to dogs and cat owners across North America. We're also in with over 1,000 veterinarians across the country. But the human brand is Yoked. And so why do we do this? Why should anyone care about Yoked? Well, the product has really tremendous muscle health efficacy, and that's been proven out by several clinical studies, double-blind, placebo-controlled, peer-reviewed, published studies. Three kind of main things that it does. It lowers myostatin in your body. So myostatin is a protein that everyone has that kind of puts the brakes on muscle gain. Why do we have this? Well, from what I'm told by the scientists, it's because you don't want your muscles to grow and grow and grow, because eventually they will become too big for your bones, your skeleton. So your body naturally puts a brake on how much muscle you can grow via this protein called myostatin. And so our product is clinically shown to reduce levels of myostatin. We also have several clinical studies that show our product reduces disuse muscle atrophy. So whether you're someone who tore their ACL or has an injury where you had surgery and you're immobilized for a while and you're not using your muscles, your muscles will atrophy in a case like that. Or if you're someone a little bit later in life and you're less active than you were previously, your muscles can atrophy there. Our product is shown through these clinical trials to have a tremendous effect in reducing atrophy from injury and age-related atrophy. And then also our product is shown to accelerate the rate of muscle protein synthesis. So really powerful bioactivity in this raw fertile egg yolk that we deliver in a real, kind of convenient, delicious snack form. Important to note, it is not a protein supplement, nor is it a replacement for protein. That's, a lot of times people look at it and it's an egg-based muscle builder. They think, okay, it's just egg white, protein. It's not. Per serving of our product, there's only 2 grams of protein. So our product works a little bit differently. It's, the combination of minerals, proteins, and lipids is what has this bioactive effect. We're not ever saying that it's a replacement for protein. If you want to build muscle, you need to consume protein. This is in a way meant to be used with protein. So as you have your protein rich diet, your protein supplements, whatever the case is, adding Yoked is something that can really boost your muscle recovery and your muscle building. Who is it for? Really anyone from elite athletes. We have NFL teams, NFL players who take the product. The Georgia Bulldogs football team, national champions, Oregon Ducks basketball program. We have elite bodybuilders and CrossFit, athletes. So really anyone from elite athletes to, again, just your average everyday person, maybe a weekend warrior recovering from surgery or recovering from an injury. They want a little bit of a boost in their recovery, or really anyone of all ages, even again, getting into the senior community where, they want to live as long and as healthy and as enjoyable life as possible. Retaining vibrant muscle health is a big key to that. So the stronger your muscles are, the more energy, the better your mobility is, and the greater your overall health and longevity is. Some of you on the Get Healthy platform might have remembered a product called Physician Muscle Health Formula. That's also a product that has been or was sold by Myos, the parent company. It's a very, very similar product. Yoked is to Physician Muscle Health Formula. The only difference is really the name and the branding. To be totally transparent, the reason why we had this previous brand called Physician Muscle Health Formula is because we felt like for clinical use, for a kind of use in the medical arena, we thought maybe it'd be better to present this product in a more kind of science sounding brand rather than Yoked, which is kind of geared towards young athletes and certainly a direct to consumer driven brand with our marketing. But in terms of the product itself, very, very similar. So if you're familiar with Physician Muscle Health Formula, which has been on Get Healthy for about 3.5 years, I believe, then you should know that it's basically the same thing, just in a different brand. So here's Rocky. I referenced him before. I like this picture because it shows he doesn't look that excited to drink the raw egg yolk. I know in the movie he just woke up here as well, but basically we take this kind of historically, or at least somewhat widely accepted idea that this is a product that can be beneficial for building muscle, and we deliver it in a safe and delicious form. So rather than chugging raw eggs every morning in your training, you can just take yolked. And so here are the two products that'll be available on Get Healthy. We have a few more SKUs, with the brand, but for Get Healthy, right now we're launching these two. The Yolked 30 pack is our best seller. That is a box of 30 single serve packets. It's NSF certified for sport, which means it's tested rigorously for performance enhancing banned substances. It's certified by NSF, which is the gold standard for NCAA, Olympics, etc. It's great for on-the-go athletes, and you rip it open and you eat it straight from the packet. So I have a box here. I can kind of show you how it works. Here is the 30 pack of Yolked. You buy it, comes in this nice box. And here is what's in the box. It is a single serve packet. And here's how you consume it. So you shake it down and you just eat it straight from the packet. And it's delicious. Here's like a corn muffin. And the serving, the clinical dosage is one of these packets per day. That's 6.6 grams of the Fortetropin. So if you're someone who, packs a gym bag before you go to work in the morning, throw a packet in. If you have young athletes who are in high school or something, again, super easy and convenient for on-the-go athletes and people who have a busy lifestyle. It really is delicious. We have, you can check out our TikTok and Instagram sites. We do these taste tests around the country where we go and set up a tent at basketball tournaments, football tournaments, all, bodybuilding events. And we give out free samples and we say basically, hey, why don't you try this and tell me what you think about it. And then we record their reactions, and people love the taste. It really does legitimately taste like vanilla cake or corn muffin. We get that a lot. So really tasty. That is the how you would consume it with the 30 pack. And then we also have the Yolked canister, which is a little bit, I guess, more traditional in terms of it's a canister with a scoop. So you would scoop it from the canister into your protein shake, or I sometimes will scoop it into chocolate milk, just as a snack like that. Again, delicious. I'll note here, the canister is not NSF certified for sport. It's the same exact product, sourced from the same, sourced in the same way. It's just the canister is kind of a limited run in terms of how many we create at a time. And to be, again, transparent, the NSF certification is very, very expensive. And so, and they would make us pay for testing, both separately. And so we decided let's just stick with the NSF certification on the 30 pack, but same product. Again, it's egg yolk in a unique form, lightly sweetened, raw egg yolk in a unique form, lightly sweetened. So nothing, dangerous or something that would trigger a drug test. So those are the two products. And then I'll just kind of quickly take you through some of the clinical studies that I referenced. And these are available, in depth, all the published studies in depth that you can read at myoscorp.com. I can have the Get Healthy folks provide a link to everyone if you're interested. But one of the first studies we did on the human side was at the University of Tampa, 2016, with young men ages 18 to 21. Again, double-blind, placebo-controlled. The Fortetropin arm of the young men saw an upregulated mTOR pathway, a down-regulated ubiquitin pathway, and a lowering of myostatin levels. 2018, California, Berkeley. This was a study done with men, adult men and women aged 60 to 75 years old, and there was no exercise as part of this. Again, double-blind, placebo-controlled. The Fortetropin arm saw an increased rate of muscle protein synthesis by an average of 18%. We recently just finished a study at McMaster University in Canada where they mimicked leg immobilization. And again, the Fortetropin supplementation prevented a rise in myostatin, which typically happens when you have that disuse. And then we have several studies on the canine and feline side. So we're a company that believes in the science. We felt like, historical anecdotes from bodybuilders in the 60s and 70s are great, but we wanted, to invest in real science behind our product to show how it works. We, feel like the science behind our product is the most valuable kind of asset that we have as a company. And so happy to answer any questions or provide any more, transparency or clarity on any questions that come up. If you want to look at some of the science, we also have great folks on staff who are scientists, who don't have a sports background like me, who can speak to, some of the technical questions. I know the folks that are involved in the Get Healthy Network are scientists as well. So that's all I have. Hopefully, I kind of went through that quickly. Hopefully, I conveyed the overall kind of gist of the brand and the product. Candace, if I did not, please take me through questions that will provide better insight.
Yeah, well, I think you did an incredible job speaking to the product itself. I just have some general questions. But first, an observation. I was quite surprised to see, well, first, whenever on the first slide you showed the powder kind of spread out, it looks like kind of dried hard-boiled egg. So that's really actually good to see. It's really cool to see. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I was really surprised when you just dumped it into your mouth, because I was thinking you'd mix it in with water or milk or something like that. But it sounds really good. I saw it sweetened with like a vanilla sweetener. Yeah, I see that on the packet. So that sounds really good. I'm also glad that you pointed out the NSF labeling. I've worked in brands before, and I know that just the cost to go through all of that would then in turn increase the consumer's cost of the product. So it's probably a good thing that you just stuck to the packets, because they're probably a more popular seller.
Right.
Probably people that just take it more often, or in larger bulk, have the whole family doing it. They probably stick with the canisters. So, but the packets are incredibly convenient to use. The other thing is, watching people taste test and all that. You mentioned your social media. If there's practitioners out there that have this in their store and they want to promote this, I always recommend find some, content that's already been created. You don't have to create this content. Dante is the expert. He has a marketing team that puts all this together, that goes through the social media. Use the content that's out there, because you don't have to rewrite it. You just have to share the information. So I'm really glad that you brought up your social media channels, which I'm sure people can simply find by searching your name.
Yeah, so I think you make great points. So our social media handles, and I should have put it in this presentation, but it's simple to remember. It's at Yoked Strong across all the different platforms. So we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Yoked Strong. And yeah, anyone who purchases the product for resale, on Get Healthy, we consider you a partner. And so we would love to work with the doctors or the individual stores to help promote and tell the story. You guys can use content that we've created and invested in and just repost it. We could do some fun collaborations if there's interest there. In terms of I think it's important that you mentioned the consistency. So you're right. It looks like crumbled up egg yolk. So when I first joined the company, they were telling everyone that it is egg yolk powder. And so two things. Number one, that to me, I can't imagine something sounding less appetizing than egg yolk powder. And I like eggs. I would eat eggs every day for breakfast the rest of my life. But egg yolk powder just sounds not appetizing. So that's number one. But number two, it's not even really an accurate description, because when I think of powder, at least I think of something that's very fine, that's maybe water soluble. This
Mhm.
is neither. This is kind of a crumble, as you can see there. It's a little bit clumpy. Again, it's high, uh, you know, concentration of lipid, fat. And so it's not water soluble. It's not something that mixes in water. If you put it in water, it'll just goes right to the bottom. You can mix it in with milk. I think the fat in the milk does a good job of mixing with the fat in the egg yolk. So that's a delicious way to take it. But yeah, it's basically like the consistency of, if you can kind of picture, uh, you're eating a cupcake or you're eating a muffin, a corn muffin, and then you look at the napkin afterwards and there's just crumbs everywhere. That's kind of the consistency of what this is. And so yeah, I mean, I took maybe half of that packet. If you dump the whole thing in at once, like, you're going to be chewing probably for about 30 or 40 seconds, but it's pleasant. I mean, it's not super dry. It tastes great. Um, Again, we have hundreds of video testimonials from kids who, I have a 5-year old, and I know it's not really the audience that we're testing it on, but he's the pickiest eater in the world, and it's frustrating. But even some of these young athletes that we, uh, focus on with the brand, if they don't like the taste of it, it could be the best supplement in the world. They won't take it. We hear that from college strength coaches all the time. This could make them an All-American. If they don't like the taste of it, they won't take it. And we're like beloved by that audience, because it generally genuinely tastes delicious. So just wanted to talk about how it's not water soluble, and a little bit on the consistency of it.
Yeah, I keep picturing like a thick cake mix or something.
Yeah, yeah, it's like
So
a cake mix,
that's
but like without like the liquid to it, because it's not like sludgy like cake mix. It's like a dry cake mix kind of, I
yeah,
guess you could say.
yeah, like right out of the box. So
Yeah,
I guess you use the product.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
How do you use it? Do you take one packet a day? Do you take extra if you're going to the gym? What is that like?
Yeah, so it's a good question. In terms of like the dose, we have anecdotes from folks that say, even like some NFL guys, some linemen who say, I like to double or triple dose it. Now, there is cholesterol in the product. And so I would say, if you're not a 400-pound or 300-pound NFL lineman, and you are interested in potentially double or triple the dosing, definitely talk to your doctor and make sure that they'd be comfortable with it. But we do have some anecdotes from folks that it does work better if you take more of it. Now, we did do the Tampa study that I referenced. We measured the difference between 3 servings a day versus one, and there was not really much of a difference. So the one study we have on dosing says that there's not much of a difference, but then we do have, dozens, if not more, anecdotes that say the opposite. Personally, I do take two. I'll typically, sometimes I'll have one for breakfast. Like, if I don't want a heavy breakfast, but I just want something, I'm a coffee drinker, like I'm sure a lot of people are, and I don't always like to drink coffee on an empty stomach, but I'll pop a packet of yolk for breakfast sometimes. And then I do also like to put it in a shake. Like, if I'm having a post-workout shake, I'll do my whey protein, my creatine, and then I'll throw my yolk in as well. And that's, for people who are looking for, whether you're a bodybuilder, or we have, some guys who, again, are elite athletes, football players, etc. They're, again, this is not a replacement for protein. You want your protein. Creatine's great too. And yolk is kind of this new additional, additive product that can really help boost, your recovery and your gains. So, one serving a day is more than enough for the average person, especially if you're not one of these, elite athletes.
Mhm.
I think body weight's also, important. If you're, 120-pound person, 130-pound person, 150-pound person, you can probably get away with one packet a day more than, a 375-pound NFL lineman. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but the people who are really looking for performance probably look to double and triple dose.
Mhm.
But just the average everyday person who wants to keep firm, lean muscle, one a day is more than enough.
Perfect. And then another last question. You mentioned you were talking about the other brand, the other name, Physician Muscle Health Formula.
Yep.
Now that was more, do you think more people other than, people going to a gym, really trying to gain, muscle, maybe more for appearance? What about people who need to gain muscle just because they're kind of withering down? Maybe they were sick, maybe they're in the hospital, maybe recovering from an injury, they've lost a lot of muscle mass. Do you still recommend this product for people, maybe in the elderly population, just trying to get their strength back and build muscle?
We do, yeah. And so the Cal Berkeley study with the 60 to 75-year-old men and women, that it was a study on this product. And so the Physician Muscle Health and the Yoked are the same product, just in different packaging. The sweetener was a little bit different, but the Fortetropin is the active ingredient. The Fortetropin is this egg crumble, if you will. And then, on the pet side, we don't sweeten it at all. On the yolk side, we have the yolk sweetener, and then on the Physician Muscle Health formula, we had a little bit of a different sweetener, and then we sold it only in the canister. But the active ingredient is the same thing. So if you're someone who fits that description, you're recovering from surgery, or you're not an athlete, you're just want something to help with muscle health as you age potentially, I would just say don't let our brand throw you off, or don't let it scare you off. Just because, and don't let our marketing or our messaging throw you off, because we are a brand that is geared towards young athletes, but it's a product and an ingredient that can help anyone. And so again, that's one of the reasons why we originally went down the path of Physician Muscle Health formula, because to that point, we didn't want people to get confused and say, well, I'm not an athlete, this can't help me. We wanted, a different sounding brand to speak to that clientele. But at this point now, with the way that our business has evolved, we discontinued the Physician Muscle Health product. We're hopeful that the Yoked brand, which is thriving and doing well, can speak to all different types of folks with the right type of education and messaging from us. And so that's part of what we're doing here, trying to explain it to all the different partners that we have. And, we're trying to include, a maybe more diverse, set of people in terms of age on our marketing. We just had a gentleman, 65 years old. And so this is not quite exactly what you were saying, but he just set the world record for bench press for his age as a 65-year-old. And he, not paid or anything, he just, reached out to us and said, Yoked was the key for me. He did a whole video series for us, and Jack Maley, he's awesome. So obviously he is an athlete and he is working out, but the age component, the product, certainly spoke to him. And really the ingredient speaks for itself. It's again, we sell this to cats and dogs too. So animals of all age and type, can benefit from strong muscle.
Well, and what a cool testimonial from someone at that age, still in the game doing these types of things. For you guys just to get that message is pretty cool. You could see that it's working.
Yeah.
And then I found something on your site that I thought was really cool. And I just wanted to say, if anyone wants to get me some merch, I would love
Okay.
this shirt. Never skip egg day. Eggs
Yeah.
are so powerful. You've heard of the incredible edible egg. Can eggs produce life? They, whatever type of egg it is, turns into life. And then we eat them. There's so much nutrition in eggs. I am such a fan of eggs, pasture raised eggs. And like you said, I could eat them every single day for breakfast for the rest of my life, and, probably throw them in other forms throughout the day. So I'm a big fan. I really like this product. I think you touched on so many good points. So much good information here. So Dante, thank you for bringing Yoked back to Get Healthy, or on to Get Healthy, from what you were on previously. So you guys have been selling with us for a while, and I hope Yoked is another brand. You guys are a brand partner here, so I'm sure we'll be doing some more promos and just some more information. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, Candace, to address your community. And I would just say, if there's anyone out there that wants more information, we're a small company. I'm super easy to reach out to. You can DM us on any of our social media and say, hey, I have a question for Dante, or it'll get to me. I can give you, well, my email address is kind of long, but Candace and her team can get you in touch with me, and I'm super available. You can text me, email me, social media, whatever you guys use. We're here to build partnerships and build success. We want to have success and provide value to your patients and your customers, but also, have business success together. So, whatever we can do to foster that, we're here.
That's awesome. I love the transparency with your brand, and so many things about your brand. So thanks again,
Thank
Dante.
you.
And I hope everyone adds Yoke to your store, does some promotions, gets on Yoke's social media, and shares the info with all your patients as well. So thanks, Yoke, for being a brand partner.